Hello, hello, here in the Beat Sessions. I'm your host, Mitchell Weary. Let's have a look at this new record from Beach Bunny entitled Emotional Creature. That was released on July 22nd. This is the second studio album for the Chicago band and the follow-up to their 2020 debut, Honeymoon. And I'm having a hard time with this one, as I think many people are, because there's a lot to like about this record. There's a lot to like about this band, frankly. Frontwoman Lily Trefilio, she's great. I think she has a marvelous penchant for the hook, a great pop sensibility. She just writes really fun rock and roll music. It's grounded in a pop punk style that I think is really reminiscent of a lot of what we got in the late 90s and early 2000s. I'm particular about that scene. I know a lot of people that are as well, but what I love about Lily's music is that it captures so much more than that. You can take her songwriting style, and it goes all the way back to the origins of punk, in my opinion, all the way back to that garage rock, that jangle pop, late 50s, early 60s, pop-driven, great melodies, and more than anything, I feel like the ethos of punk rock starts to come out of that time period. But I love that when you throw on, this new record, especially Emotional Creatures, I hear bands like The Byrds, and then I hear that garage rock, bands like The Who. You hear bands like Jefferson Airplane as well. It captures a lot. And, as we move through time, especially into the 80s, the college rock scene, I hear bands like REM, the Go-Go's, the B-52s on this record, and a ton of other stuff. The White Stripes, Liz Phair, The Strokes. I mean, you name it. That's what makes this band so much fun. The energy is through the roof, and I have not had a chance to see these guys live, but I know some people who have, and they say that what they bring to the table for an audience is it's spectacular. It really is special. So I was looking forward to this record, and for that reason, and for the fact that I think it was time for Lily as a songwriter to open up. I love her explorations of love. I think that as far as the way she writes about love too, it's exceptional. She's incredibly articulate. I think that the way that she manages her words, it's truly exceptional to just read her songs. I love the wordplay that she's working with. And so I think the combination of that and the music in and of itself feeling kind of predictable, while it's so good and while there's so much to like, is ultimately what is keeping so many people from loving this record, including myself. And I want to start off with the lyrics because, like I said, I don't think they're bad. I think her reflections on love are excellent, and I think they're incredibly well penned. But she's 25 years old, and this is a band that garnered their fame through the TikTok platform. So that in and of itself, I try not to be critical. We're in 2022. There's a lot of bands that are going to utilize that, whether they want to or not. And so as a platform, I feel like it lends itself to that 15 minutes. So I think it's something that you need to be careful with if you want to blow up using TikTok. But Lily, she's 25 now, and I think that being as intelligent and as articulate as she is, and being that her music is so driven by punk rock, I think a lot of people were really looking for her to open up and explore that punk rock ethos that I mentioned before, and to not make a political record, but especially after the last 2 years and everything that's gone on, to maybe talk about society, to maybe open up and talk about a little more than love. It feels like a comfort zone for her, and it feels like she stayed in there and didn't branch out, which I hate to be judgmental of that. I hate to criticize anybody for putting themselves out there. I'm doing the same thing on this channel. I don't like it when people get on here and say things that aren't constructive. I mean, if you want to talk crap about me and say whatever, that's totally fine. But as far as the rest of the community, your comments are hopefully supposed to be constructive, or, if you disagree with something, it's supposed to be constructive. I think that's really important. And so I'm having a hard time with this because I'm having a hard time saying it. I'm having a hard time judging her for her writing here because I really like it. I just wish she'd done more. I know that she's someone that has a lot to say, and I think a lot of us were looking forward to her saying something different. And as far as the music, I'm also well aware of stylistically, this is the type of project where don't overthink it. Don't do too much. It's punk rock. I get it. But I think that if you're going to roll with that, as far as keeping your audience engaged, then you need to lyrically branch out. And the fact that this album musically does navigate some different territory for the band, these songs, the compositions and the structure of them still feel predictable. You know when the hooks are coming, you know when different instrumentation is going to come in. It's really unfortunate that as enjoyable as it is, it still sadly feels like going through the motions. And that's kind of disappointing because I think that this band is really capable of doing a lot more than that. But I want to get into the track listing on this thing because I've been a little long-winded. Entropy is going to open this thing up. 90s alternative rock and roll feel. Get a little bit of jangle pop too. Great chorus. Love the melody, and it's going to give you a quick indication of what's to come. This thing, 12 songs. The first 11 of them, pretty hot. Again, punk rock, the driving force here. So nothing really over 2.5 minutes, 3 minutes. Some of this stuff even under 2 minutes. Oxygen, your second song, stomping drums. I love the whining bass. And then the chorus kicks in. It's got this bright melody. It's very catchy as well. Definitely reminded me of REM on this particular track. Dead Weight, your third song, shoegazy. Love the bright riff. Just thinking of someone like Olivia Rodrigo on this particular track, and I loved her record. I will say that she's someone too that as she continues to make records like Lily, I think that she's a smart woman who is going to have to focus more on love and heartache in order to keep her audience engaged, because her audience is going to grow up too. That's the thing. It's like these people also grow up and become adults. And so, I mean, I think of a band like the Ataris, who I listened to a ton as a 16-year-old. I haven't listened to the Ataris in over a decade because that music doesn't resonate with me emotionally as a 38-year-old man. I think that, to each their own as far as the audience that you want to keep engaged. But I think that, if you want to keep those people that grow up with you entertained to a certain degree, you have to do that as well. Where were we here? Dead Weight, yes, we got off that. Gone is your fourth track. I like the lo-fi intro on this song. It kicks into this poppy rocker, and I like the solo on this song. Great piece of guitar work there. Your fifth song, Eventually, loose 90s alternative riff. I love the minimal synth that's working on this song. The chorus kicks in predictably but nicely. I thought that was a really nice moment on the record. Fire Escape, your sixth song, it's got this arpeggiated riff in the verse, feeling a little bit of the Birds there, that Roger McGuinn signature guitar tone from bands like Pavement and Dinosaur Jr. as well, like when she's working with that. Weeds, your seventh song. This is definitely a highlight of the record. What a hook. And talk about doing different things lyrically and vocally. This hook it's a really wordy hook, and it's fun, and she pulls it off. And I don't know if she's done anything like this before. So it's stuff like this that I really was hoping to get more of on this record. Maybe selfishly, more than likely selfishly. I think all of us that were wanting something different, there's definitely an element of that there. Oh, well, it is what it is. Drum driven, though, breezy pop rock. It's a great song. I really love Weeds a lot. Gravity, your eighth song, has got this pulsating synth. It's just little spacey interlude that runs for about a minute. And the positive reviews that I was reading for this record, they talk about this song, and it's like her branching out, but it's not really that much going on there to really grab you. That's exceptional. There is on Scream, however, though. Your ninth track, I like the guitar and vocal intro. You get these progressive synths that move in. It's very proggy. I like the textures there. And then the bass moves in and out, and I really just like the way the drums come in. Bright mid-tempo track. Another highlight as well. Infinity Room, your 10th song, brief acoustic ballad. The back end of this record really starts to get strong. It's unfortunate that the first half of it just feels monotonous. It feels very difficult to stay engaged as much as you're loving this music. It's weird. I don't think I've listened to a record like this in a very long time where I was like so turned on by so much, but still just not hooked into it. Infinity Room, though, but it's this brief acoustic ballad. You get these little bird textures in the background, but it's a strong moment on the record. Another highlight leads into Karaoke, which is your penultimate track. It's got an ambient riff and vocal intro. Kicks in after about 30 seconds. Nice jangly groove, but for a penultimate track, it just feels kind of anticlimactic, if you will. It leads into Love Song, your final track, which, major highlight on the record. And this is another moment where I think I was hoping that this album would deliver more of what's going on in this song. And not that she's doing much that's different, but you get this, it's called an opus. It's like it's almost a 6-minute song that does a lot. It covers a lot of familiar territory while also navigating some new territory as well. And it's a pretty remarkable track, probably one of the better songs that they've done. And I like her reflections on love there. Excuse me. But again, after 11 other songs of talking about love, it seems tired, unfortunately, by the time you get to it, and tough to enjoy. This record, oh man, I think that a lot of you are going to love it. I liked it. I thought it was a really good effort. I just felt that this band is capable of delivering more. I think Lily especially is a songwriter. I think lyrically, I think it's important on their next record that she dabble into that she takes that leap, and just, you know, if people dig it, great. If they don't, they don't. It's always the gamble you take when you create art. But I think that we definitely have a case of playing it safe here, unfortunately, it feels like. And I feel like the record ultimately suffers for that. So I'm going to have to pass on it. But I do hope you all enjoy this record. I hope you find this review helpful. Please like this video, share it, subscribe to the channel, do all the things to help me blow this project up in 2022, and stay tuned throughout the week for more album reviews. We will see you next time on the Beat Sessions.